Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very special video. We're gonna do the Brentford Liverpool game preview, and I have a very nice panel with me today. So first, I have Salil. Salil, how are you?
Hi Zain, I'm good. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for having me.
No worries. We have also Doug from the Dugout channel. Thank you so much for joining. How are you doing, Doug?
My pleasure, Zani, as always. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm doing very well. Looking forward to the Brentford game. Should be a challenge for sure.
And we have Jack as well. Jack, how are you?
Thank you very much for having me on, Zani, and everyone at home. Hope you're having a lovely evening. Can't wait to get stuck into today's episode.
Yeah, and I love your background. It's very like
It's quite a mess behind there, so that's why I put it up.
mine, like I have TV
Yeah.
and there is a TV inside actually. So.
Yeah. Oh, sad. Yeah, you can hide quite a lot behind there.
I should get one of those green screens as well, to be fair. But we have a couple of viewers here already. So we have Colum here, Helen, Alan, Edwin, Prasad, One Rover Vlogs as well. He's gonna be looking at the video a bit later, and Lokman as well, calling me, I suppose, a red analytic, but okay. Before we go into the Brentford game, obviously we had the Carabao Cup game on Tuesday. We won, was it 3-0? Well, it was 3-0. So comfortable game, but it was quite an interesting squad choice from Klopp. We were expecting that it won't be our strongest 11, but I suppose there were some maybe surprises in there. Let's start with Doug. What do you thought about our starting 11?
I was very happy with it. A mix of obviously experience and youth, and I like if you look at the team, I think that's probably our strongest starting 11 in a League Cup game that I can remember. You look at the defence. We had Kanati, we had Gomez, we had Tsimikas, we had Bradley. Like in the midfield, we had Ox, Keita, and Curtis Jones, and then obviously up front you had Minamino, a 16-year-old Kate Gordon, who I thought was terrific on the night, and Divock Origi. So, it's youth and experience, and I think that is the best way to go about it. But I was very happy with the lineup, and obviously in the end, it was a very comfortable victory.
I totally agree. Salil, was there anyone who surprised you, maybe from the young guys, or maybe Origi or Taki?
Well, we already knew that Klopp is going to make some changes into the team, and as Doug rightly said, I think Kate Gordon caught the eye. There was too much buzz or a lot of hype created about him in the youth team, but I think he delivered on that front. He was impressive from the word go. And an impressive run out from Minamino and Origi, who's got unfortunately, he's been criticized a lot of late on social media. In fact, he was on his way out, as what Klopp said. But his situation was very similar to 2019, and we know what happened that year.
Yeah.
So I hope that repeats this season as well. But overall, I think it was a fabulous victory. The team was on the point, on the money. Keller had a fabulous game. Nobody spoke about Keller much. I think he saved that penalty, and overall he looked assured. So I think we are in good hands for now.
To be fair, I might say a bit of a crazy shout, but I think, not that Kelleher is better at penalties than Alisson, but I kind of had this aura that he will save it. Like Alisson, he'll save most of the dangerous situation. When it comes to penalties, you're not quite sure. But with Kelleher, I kind of have this feeling he will save it. He has something, I don't know, maybe I'm just being crazy, but I think he has that something which gives you...
To be fair, I think you've made a very good assumption there, because the only penalty I can remember, obviously Alisson saving, I think, was Jorginho at Chelsea. So I think that's a fair assumption, and I think, yes, it was a very poor penalty from the Greek lad for Norwich, but it's a very good save from Kelleher. I'm actually going to say I think Kelleher training with Alisson has actually got some traits into Kelleher, heading away the ball. I was very impressed with his performance, and I think, as I think everyone has said on the panel, I think he has actually gone under the radar a little bit because of his performance.
Yeah, I think, Jack, what do you think? Is he better than Adrian, so he deserves that second goalie name?
Yeah, he's got such experience as such a young player as well. And Zana, he's spot on there in terms of the academy. I think he did save quite a couple of penalties in his younger years. So, and he's quite a tall lad anyway. He's about 6'5", 6'6". But yeah, he demands that reassuring presence between the sticks. Something that pre-Alisson Liverpool very much struggled with goalkeepers. We know them anyway. I'm not saying any names, but it's great to see it's what having world-class players. Imagine like Kay Gordon learning from Salil. You've got Kelleher learning from Alisson as well, and Curtis Jones as well. Don't know everyone else in chat as well. He will be getting asked a lot of will be asked from him this season. He's got the ability to step up. But it's a massive season. Yet again, he played quite a lot of minutes last year, but against Norwich, he was probably one of my standouts. He really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, and he more or less one of the senior players now in the squad.
Definitely. I think all of the youngsters, they've been playing in the first team for a while already, including Morton as well, who came on, I think it was for Keita. But I think everyone had quite a good performance, but there was someone who I was thinking, this is not working out well, and I'm talking about Ox. I thought he was just nothing was going right for him. He was lacking pace. He was giving the ball away. He was giving incorrect passes. So what do you think, Doug? What's going on with Ox? Does he have a future at Liverpool or no?
He hasn't recovered from that injury. I think that injury has taken a lot out on him, and unfortunately, it's just the case of he's going to just have to deal with being on the bench. He's going to have to deal with not starting many games as well. I think you'll probably see him in the League Cup, maybe FA Cup. I'm not so sure about the Champions League, but I like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and it's just a problem is that injury has given a lot out on him, and I don't think he is the same player. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we maybe get rid of him, maybe even in January, maybe even in the summer. But he's been a very good servant for us. But unfortunately, injuries have just taken a toll.
Yeah, and when you, for example, look how Shaqiri is performing right now, it's a bit like, why did we keep Ox and not Shaq? Like, I know they have different attributes to their game, but maybe that's my personal choice, but if we had to choose between them two, I probably would go for Shaq. But it is what it is. What do you think about him, Salil? Is he done at Liverpool?
I don't think he's done. When you look at Ox and the way he performs, I think he's trying way too hard to impress Klopp, is what I feel. Because if you look at his performances, he's losing possession in unwanted areas, but also at the same time, out of nowhere, he can, have a pop-at goal and it actually works out. Even after having an off game against Norwich, he got an assist. Of course, it was all Minamino's work ethic. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's an assist for Ox. I think I hope he can build on that performance, even in an off performance, if he can get an assist. I guess it's more to do with a run of games. Maybe if he gets a run of games here and there, slowly and gradually, I think we'll see Ox, which we've been used to seeing in 2017-18 season. So I think it's more of a rhythm, and I think he needs to focus more on getting his confidence back, putting in a shift, try and settle into the team instead of trying way too hard to impress Klopp. I feel that's what I feel about Ox.
It could be, yes, because I do have a feeling that he played really well in all the preseason games. So we were thinking, okay, this is going to be his year if he manages to stay fit. But it could be that there's too much pressure on him. He feels too much pressure from Klopp, so he tries to impress in the games which really matter. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? I think him and Naby, they've very much been hit with injuries in their Liverpool career. I was a massive fan of Ox before he come to Liverpool, and I was made up. Everyone's going 40 million. It's too expensive. And I was like, no, it sounds the type of quality the player that he could possibly be. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. And even Klopp's mentioned this year and previous years the false nine position. He's got that ability to play in that role. Just had a kid. He might not be getting 100% sleep, but he's got to focus on his football. But yeah, it's psychologically, I think, when there were certain players, we see it with Shaqiri and Danny Ings when he's come back from injury. Obviously, he's doing great for Aston Villa now and Southampton. Prior to that, psychologically, when he's going into these tackles, Ox, I think he's always got that something in the back of his mind, like, I don't want to get injured again. And there's got to be sports science people out there that would probably back that up with statistics and all that. But I just want to watch him. I always go fingers crossed that he doesn't get injured, because he's probably one of the only very fair few in that Liverpool midfield that offer you a goal threat in terms of in and around the box, someone that has that ability to score a goal. But fingers crossed he can get it sorted. And as Salil mentioned as well, it's all to do with momentum and getting games under his belt as well. But
yeah, and I think Edwin is making a fair point here as well with the
And
injuries.
Zani, if I may add, I may add to what Jack is saying. Now that Keita's injured, right? It's possible with looking at the run of games that we're going to have. It's, as I tweeted earlier, we're going to have a tough run of fixtures starting with Brentford, and then I think we have Porto, and then we have Atletico, and so on. So we are going to have a tough run of games. I think this is where Ox needs to step up and maybe seize his opportunity and get in those few minutes under his locker, and possibly get in that momentum where he can actually stake a claim at being a more regular or being more preferred ahead of some of the other players in the team.
Yeah, and I think Edwin is kind of saying a similar thing, because we do have Keita injured. We don't know for how long. It might be one game, might be two. You never know with Keita, to be fair. Then we do have Thiago injured as well, which is quite unclear what's going to happen with him. So with these injuries, it's possible that people like Ox will get a run of games. And it's very important to have players like him as well, because we do know how the Christmas period, even now we have so many games in such short period of time. So hopefully he'll manages to get back to his best self. And Callum here, he is Arsenal fan, so said he really liked him when he was at Arsenal. So injuries really have ruined him, but hopefully he can get back to his best. Talking about Taki Minamino, because last year when we signed him, people were quite excited because he did play well in the Bundesliga. He played well against us in Champions League, and then he wasn't getting any games. The games he was getting, he looked a bit shaky, and then he started to play well, and we didn't play him. Like, I remember the Crystal Palace game, he was playing really well, but then we sent him on loan. What do you think, Doug, about him? Do you think he will stay in Liverpool? Do you think now, for example, when Salah Mane will go into AFCON, will he get run of games?
I think he's going to have to step up, especially with obviously that African Cup of Nations coming up. The problem with Minamino is I don't think we know his best position. I remember a game at Brighton where he was played, I think, in the attacking number 10 role. And then I think in the second half, he was actually moved out to left wing, and then we moved him out to right wing. We don't know his best position. For me, I think probably his best position is probably out wide. I think he's probably more suited out wide. But I thought he was fantastic the other night. I think the two goals he took really, really well. Yes, they're not simple finishes, and I know the keeper made it quite easy for him, but you've still got to finish in those positions. But I thought his touches were fantastic, and I'm excited because I was one of those ones that was like, yeah, 7.25 million. When you get the chance to sign a player for that money, you have to take it. And at least we actually saw the release clause. Unlike Manchester United, who were prepared to pay, I think, 20 to 30 million, which is absolutely madness. But I feel for Minamino because I think there was a time when we won the league, you've obviously seen him in the pictures that he wasn't really getting involved in the celebrations, and I think Jordan Henderson had to put like an arm around him, just join us to celebrate and obviously winning. And obviously he won the Austrian league that season as well. So I think he's a player that thrives upon a crowd, if you get what I mean. So I think if we play him in the next couple of weeks, obviously we've got another cup game against I think it's Preston away, which is a very, very good tie. I think that'll be a very, very good opportunity for him to show what he can do. But I think he's impressed that he'll probably be on the bench against Brentford on Saturday. But it's all about momentum with Minamino, I think.
Definitely. And I think where he lacks is probably his physicality, because when he comes up to players, he often loses those battles. So it could be a problem. What do you thought about his performance, Jack?
Yeah, it's the physicality, spot on there. It's difficult when you come, obviously, from Austria. Certain strikers have come into the Bundesliga and certain players have come into the league and really thrived. But it's, as Doug alluded to, the confidence with them as well. Certain players are very different. They thrive. Some of them like a hand over the shoulder. Some of them like straight talking to them from a manager's point of view. But I think I do see a long-term future for him at the football club, and he just needs to get his head down, keep on doing what he's doing, and I think he will be a massive asset, especially if Liverpool are going to be going deep into the FA Cups, might say, and obviously the Carabao Cup anyway. The more goals he does score, the more confidence he will get. It's cliche, but he will grow in confidence. But I think we'll see a future at the football club for him. But it's similar in terms of our good mate Connor from the Cop Council. He always quotes and says it's similar in the player like the ilk of how everyone liked Yossi Benayoun. He was more or less a fringe player, but he was a massive cult figure within Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, and I think with Taki, I think he's a very likable character, at least for me. Like I like him a lot. When you look at the time when he came into the club, he came, I think it was January when we won the league that year. But then after pandemic started and all those things, so it could impact like how you bond with the team as well. So I do agree with you, Jack. I think he has a future. I hope he has, because I said I do like him. But when we look at our squad, and obviously we know that we've got a couple of injuries already, 5 games in. So we have Thiago injured, we have Keita injured. I think Bobby is back in training, if I know correctly.
Bobby's in contention for the game, is what Klopp said.
Good. I'll start with you, Salil, then. What do you think of our squad depth after, for example, seeing the game against Norwich? Do you think we have enough, for example, to challenge for the league?
Well, before I answer that question, I would like to add something. I noticed something about Minamino's game and all the goals that he scored. What he lacks with regards to physicality, he makes up with it for his intelligence and his positions. So if you've seen, all his goals are more like a poacher, you see, right? And that is what we've been lacking at times. If he can take those crucial positions as to wherein Trent can cross in the ball, or a Shimikas or Robo can cross in, he can take those positions, and he is an ideal poacher. The same is with Divock Origi. He can be an ideal centre forward for us. He could be the plan B for us, which is what we've been lacking for quite a few games against opposition like Atletico Madrid or those deep block, low block teams, right? So I think these two players can actually provide us those solutions. Now, coming back to the squad depth, of course, I think it was an opportunity lost where we could have added maybe one striker to the team, or an attacker at least to this team. But if injuries are kind on us, I think we are as good as anyone in the league. We can challenge any team in the league, provided we have kind of luck with injuries. Unfortunately, we've already seen one player go out literally in every match. We've either lost Milner, or we've lost Jota, or we lost Bobby, or now we've lost Thiago, now we lost Keita. So unfortunately, we've not really had a sustained run in luck with injuries. So provided we have a certain run in with injuries, I find it difficult to challenge. But I think knowing Klopp and the mentality monsters that we are, I will never rule us out of anything. We are Liverpool for a reason. We never do it easy.
Exactly. What do you think, Doug? What are your thoughts about squad depth, about challenging, about injuries?
Well, obviously, until Keita's daft injury. I mean, I've played football a long time, and I've never ever been injured just kicking a blade of kicking a blade of grass. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's just, it's just really really typical with Naby. I I look at it a little bit differently. I think that team we played against Norwich the other night, I think there was a lot of strength and depth there. Obviously, you be able to rotate as well. So you've got obviously your sub keeper Kelleher. Pray to goodness Adrian is staying on that bench. You've obviously got like backup left back. You've got young right back as well. Believe Neco Williams is back in training as well, from what I've been told as well. I was quite surprised that he actually didn't play the other night, but then I remembered he was injured, so at least he's doing training. And then you've got your Ox, your obviously Keita if he doesn't get injured in a blade of grass, Curtis Jones, and then obviously Minamino, Origi. We do actually have the good squad depth. The only problem is goalkeepers we're stacked with. Defenders we are absolutely stacked with as well. Midfield completely stacked. It's just the forwards. I think we're lacking something. If a Salil or a Mane get injured, then you're going to have to rely on a Minamino or an Origi. I think the squad depth is good, but could be better.
That's fair enough. I think it's a fair point that we're stacked at goalkeeper, defender, midfield, but our midfield, I'm a bit reluctant to agree. It's true in quantity, but when you look, they're all a bit injury prone. So I'm just really hoping that we don't get more injuries too.
In fact, Zain, if I may add to what you're saying and what Douglas was saying, I don't think anyone has mentioned this, but Jota has been underperforming the last 3 games, according to the levels that he's put in. Phenomenal footballer. He is an important player to the team, and he's going to be the cog in the wheel when we are not going to have Salah and Mane for the AFCONs. But I feel the last 3 games he's slightly gone under the radar. I hope he picks up form and he starts scoring again, because that would not only be good for his confidence but also take some pressure off Salah and Mane for goals up front. Of course, with Divock being amongst the goals, he's a good option to have, but I don't know how much Klopp is going to use him in the league games. So I thought I'll just make that point as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I think we do miss Bobby as well. And maybe when now Bobby is back, he'll again have that competition. So maybe he'll have a bit more hunger to try and score some goals again, because he is quite clinical, to be fair. At least he used to be. But yeah, I agree, last couple of games weren't the best, especially the chance he had against Crystal Palace. I would probably score there. I don't know. I played football once in my life, but I don't know. Jack, same question to you about midfield. It's about injuries and squad depth and everything.
Yeah, I think the whole Liverpool fan base around the world were questioning, especially when we lost Gini Wijnaldum. The one, as well as his quality, was his injury-free record in which he's getting absolutely slated in Paris Saint-Germain by all the fans. So, unlucky Gini, lads, should stay there. But it's when we analysed it, all of us around the world, we analysed Liverpool's midfield. If we get a couple of injuries, and we were talking about Naby and Ox in that time as well, I look at it as, yes, we could have improved it, and I think we will make massive strides in the next couple of transfer windows. I think if Liverpool, I'd love Jude Bellingham. It'd be a lot of money, but I think if Jurgen Klopp wants that type of profile of a player, we've saved a lot of money, which we've not been spending much money in previous windows. But Jude Bellingham, and especially if you add a much improved Curtis Jones to that mix as well in a couple of years, they will be world class. But I think Liverpool, I just look at Liverpool's academy. We've got Curtis Jones, similar with Trent. if Curtis Jones, what a player that would be. Curtis Jones does develop in the trajectory in which Trent has gone in terms of his developments. He's still a young player, Jones. He will save you in excess of 50, 60 million pounds. We do need to pad out our midfield. And I think this year, as everyone on the panel and everyone around the world as well, it's a massive year for Ox, as we've already alluded to on the chat as well, and a massive year for Naby. And I think Jurgen Klopp, he'll be sitting there in his seat, biting his teeth, but he'll know himself that, right, I've given these lads 12 months and it's the same story season after season. I know Naby, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract, so he's not got a long time. And I think in the next 12 months, I think we'll get a bigger picture in terms of where we see him at the football club. But yeah, we could improve it. But every time we watch Curtis, sorry to get a jump, I just love him as a footballer. It's just how tall he is, but how gifted he is in terms of that ability with his feet and dribbling in terms of his ability on the ball. But yeah, massive Curtis Jones fan, as you can tell.
Yeah. Talking about Kate, I think I saw some rumors that he doesn't want to sign a contract extension if he is not given more game time. I don't know how true that is, because he's not given game time only because he's injured. Because when he's not injured, Klopp always gives him the chance. Sometimes even when he doesn't really deserve to, like, for example, the Real Madrid game last Champions League, I thought that there were better options than Kate in that game, but still, like, it's not an issue of him not being good enough. It's an issue of his injuries and everything. Talking about this comment here about Jude, I would love Jude in Liverpool, but I have the feeling that we have to sell someone important to get Jude, and the situation with Salah contract is a bit scary, and I kind of had a feeling that FSG want to sell him. I don't know, like, tell me, guys, what is your view? Do you think he'll extend or not?
He's doing everything right, isn't he, to all the media, praising all Liverpool fans, how much he loves us. But we've seen it behind closed doors, that Henderson contract negotiations somehow crept out of the woodwork, and that got sorted. So whether that was Henderson's agent or Henderson's hierarchy, someone leaked that within the club. Don't think the club or Jurgen Klopp were happy, that would say. But yeah, we all want Salah to sign a contract, but it's whether FSG visualise him selling a massive asset. We could easily get 100, 150. Salah, he's priceless for us. I want to retire. I think all of us do. Yeah. But it's what these businessmen want from the asset to their football club. Yeah, but I'd love him to sign, but something is, if that doesn't get signed in the next couple of weeks or months even, then there's something seriously wrong. I know he's got quite a long time to go on his contract, but you want it sorted, don't you?
I think it's 2 years from now. So yeah. Doug, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely agree with what Jack said. The more this lingers on, the more doubt that people are going to get in. Just on Jude Bellingham, I think he's absolutely a fantastic player. The only problem is I don't see us getting him unless we sell a midfielder. Now, with the news that obviously Keita is obviously not wanting a new contract because of obviously game time, then it gives the question, do you go for Bellingham and then give them Keita in return? Or do you just wait until Keita's contract runs down, get Dortmund to get Keita, and then we get, it is a conundrum. But on Salah, I mean, one good stat actually is that if Mo Salah scores against Brentford on Saturday, he'll become the fastest Liverpool player to score 100 goals for Liverpool. Ian Rush did it, I think, in 152 games. Mo Salah can do it in 151 games. So Mo Salah's numbers are just absolutely incredible. They are insane. he's just so clinical and it's not bad for a one season wonder as we all like to put it. I see Jack counting. So I've been very, very impressed, but as we have said, the more this lingers on, I think the more doubt that fans are going to get in their heads. But I want him to stay. I think we all want him to stay. Make more history with Liverpool as well.
Totally agree. I think I will go to those protests if we sell Salah, even though I might be called random
I
names.
think if you look at it, Salah had tweeted recently it's about something about the fans that you give me power, you give me support, you give me the energy. So it's obvious that Salah wants to stay, unless his agent wants to be a rat himself, because he's been cryptic in some of his messages. We've seen Rami's messages. His agent, I think he's trying to cook something up which doesn't even exist. Klopp obviously will not let Salah go, no matter what. I think Klopp had a massive influence in the Henderson contract issue as well. I think he put his foot down, and it was required because Henderson is the leader, he's the captain, he's a club icon, and there was no way that we were going to sell Jordan Henderson. I don't see us selling Mo Salah as well unless somebody comes up with a ridiculous offer which is too good to resist or too good to say no to. But even despite that, I highly doubt that we're going to sell Salah, because the thing is, Salah is not just a player; he's an icon, he's a brand, And even if you lose Salah, who are you going to replace him with? Who's going to score those amount of goals that he's going to score, or even half of that? I don't think a Bellingham can, apart from unless we're going to sign a Holland, which is impossible considering Mino Raiola is his agent and his wages are going to be crazy. It's practically impossible to even come to terms to think to the fact that this Liverpool team would do well without Salah. He is pivotal in whatever we achieve under Klopp. I don't see him leaving.
I don't see him leaving as well. I'm just afraid that huge offer will come in, and FSG will not say no to that much money. But hopefully the pressure from Klopp and from the fans maybe will do something and he'll stay, because with him it's at least 30 goals in all competitions guaranteed. So, and he already has how many goals? 4, 5? Quite a lot of goals already. So yeah. Now we can finally probably move to the Brentford game. So I have a bit of statistics, data, history about us against Brentford. So the first game we played was in 1906, and since then we have played only 15 games in all competitions against them, with the last being, I think, is 1989 FA Cup, where we won 4-0. Last time we met them in the league was 1947, so that's a long time ago. It was a draw. And because of that one, Brentford was relegated and Liverpool went to win the title that year. So we have 9 wins against them, 3 losses and 3 draws. So quite favorable head-to-head. But I think they've started this season, maybe I'll say shockingly well, because they've done quite well for a team who's just been promoted. I'll start with you, Jack. What do you think of their beginning of the season, how they're playing?
Yeah, made up. Well, I think you all know I'm a massive fan of Ivan Toney. What a player. I think if he does stay in the Premier League and he helps Brentford stay in the league, I think there were a lot of big clubs sniffing around him. I'd be intrigued to see how well he would do, how consistent he can be. We've seen Watkins move to Aston Villa, and he just more or less replaced him. The hierarchy of Brentford, I'd say it was very intelligent, but it was quite common knowledge. Obviously, he's got a decent goal record in the lower leagues, and he's been given the opportunity. And Sergio Canos, the young Liverpool academy player as well. I remember watching the first game weekend. It was the Friday game of the season, and everyone was like, "Oh, Arsenal should win." And I was like, no, if anyone's not seeing this Brentford side play, they can play football.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah. Thank you. Honestly, I can actually remember doing my Premier League predictions, and so many people had predicted Brentford to Arsenal to beat Brentford. And I'm like, no. Brentford are going to win because it's under the lights at the Brentford Community Stadium. They want to make an impression as well. And they battered Arsenal. It could have been 3, it could have been 4. I've been very, very impressed with Brentford, and it's not bad for Ivan Toney to come from a team like Peterborough United, who, let's be honest, are struggling in the Championship now. As you can obviously, see, they are struggling. But Ivan Toney to come from Peterborough United to go to Brentford when they've just lost Ollie Watkins as well, I think that was just genius by Thomas Frank. And I have been very, very impressed with Brentford. They've got a lot of good players. Ivan Toney, obviously, but as you say, Sergi Canos, Embuemo, I think he's a very good player. But they've got a player, Christian Norgard, who's like their Fabinho kind of player. They've got a good defender in Christopher Ayer from Celtic as well. I've been very, very impressed with Brentford. And yes, I suppose people can say that they have started the season to everyone's shock that, it's 8 points from 5 games. It's a very, very good start. And I think people who had them to be, going down, might need to rethink their predictions. I mean, I'm not gonna have any credit with this, but I actually said that I thought they would survive comfortably, and I've been proven right so far.
Yeah, I think many podcasts and videos I've done about like season predictions, and everyone was saying the teams who got promoted will go down. And here Brentford is just playing, and they're not like parking the bus. They're actually playing football, and their game against Wolves was impressive. Like, I was impressed. I think they scored so many goals, like many of them were disallowed, but generally it just shows that they can do it. Salil, what are your thoughts?
Well, of course, I mean, I've seen Brentford play, and they've been quite decent. They have had a better record than Leeds United this season, which is quite shocking considering the way Leeds play. But coming back to it, in fact, Brentford had Benrahma at one time before he went to West Ham, and they were playing some spectacular football back in the Championship. So I'm not really surprised by the way Brentford have performed. But now the tough run of fixtures start, because I think after us they got Chelsea, and I think they got Leicester and so on. So it's going to be a tough game. They're not going to be pushovers by any stretch of the imagination. And but I feel we have enough quality to see through this game. But yes, Brentford will be a threat. Canos will be a threat. Toney will be a threat. Northgard will be a threat. So they are not pushovers by any stretch.
Definitely, and even though it wasn't they're not in the same league as Oldham, but they battered them 7-0. Like, to score 7 goals, it doesn't happen a lot, and not concede 1. So I think they're on a good wave. So I think it's going to be a hard game. So if people think it's going to be a walk in the park, I don't think so. Talking about maybe our squad choices, Doug, I will go to you first. Which players would you play in this game? Also taking into account that we have a game against Porto on Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main one. I think Ali will be back in goal. I can see him coming back in goal. I think Trent will be back. I think he will be back. As far as centre backs, I don't really want to drop Kanate, but I think Matip will come back in, and then I think it'll be Van Dijk. And then, if I'm being honest, our Greek Scouser is undroppable right now. I cannot see anything to drop him for Robbo, because I think he made a couple of assists midweek as well. So I think it's Tsimikas at left back. I think the midfield 3 is probably Fabinho, Henderson, probably Curtis Jones as well. And I think up front it'll be Mane, Jota, Salah.
All right, Jack, your team.
Yeah, I'd go with a similar one, and I echo the words that Doug said. Depending how Klopp, obviously, I think Brentford do like to play a 3 at the back with 5 in midfield, so the stretching the pitch, like to go down the wide area as well. My heart's going Kostas, but I think Klopp might go with Robbo left back, but any of them will be a great addition anyway. Matip, hopefully, if he's fully fit, with fingers crossed he is, he's had a good rest midweek anyway. So Van Dijk, Trent right back, and then Ali in goal. Henderson in midfield with Milner and Fabinho in the holding role, and then Salah, Mane, and Jota, I think, will be the start 11 for me.
All right, Salil, your 11.
I think it's pretty much straightforward. It's going to be Allison in goal, Trent at right back. Matip comes in because I think he's not played the last 2 games, and he comes back. He's going to be fresh and he's going to be needed. Van Dijk, obviously, the best defender in the world, he's going to be there. Robo, I guess, starts his game, but I think he'll be off by the 70th or 75th, so that Klopp preserves a bit of juice in him for the Porto game. But I think Robo will start this game. Midfield is a little interesting because I think Henderson and Fabinho will start. It'll be interesting to see whether it's going to be one of Miller or Curtis Jones. I'll go with Curtis Jones, considering he's put in a good shift in the last 2 games against Palace and against Norwich. The front three will be Jota, Mane, and Salah. That's what I feel. Midfield is one place where I feel something could change.
Yeah, I think I would put the same team, but I would put Tsimikas instead of Robo because I do agree with Doug. I think he's undroppable at the moment. He's in very good form. I'm not saying he's better than Robertson because that would be a crazy shout, but he is in very good form. I don't know about Bobby. Probably he'll come on to substitute Jota at some time, but we'll see. When talking about the game, we were saying there's not going to be an easy one. Jack, how do you think the game's going to go? Who's going to have more possession? Is it going to be counter-attacks only for Brentford, or what do you think?
It's going to be a very intriguing game. It's going to be tactical in terms of, I think Jurgen Klopp in previous fixtures over the last couple of years, he's been a manager to probably allow opposition teams to have possession. And look, it's not like we're playing a team like Burnley who will sit behind the ball. I think it will play very much into Jurgen's plans, looking to counter-attack them and really be as clinical as possible. I think it'd be a massive surprise for them. Obviously, they've played a lot of decent teams, but when you play the bigger teams in the Prem, like the Cities, the Chelseas, and obviously the Man Cities, if we can take our chances, might be a shock to their system. But I think they will come at us, which would be refreshing. It'd be great, but they will pose a lot of difficult threats. But I think we'll look to counter-attack them and very much get in the space in which they will look to leave. The Toney and Bubu, sorry, I probably butchered that, but their lad, number 19 up front. You know who I'm talking about, number 19 for Brentford. But I've watched him. He got a goal against Wolves, didn't he? Very pacey, so we've got to be switched on behind. Especially, we've already alluded to Toney. He only needs a little sniff, and he's in behind and really can punish you. So I'll have to do the job, hopefully, come the weekend. But it will be an intriguing battle. It's not like, as I mentioned, Burnley, and you're like, oh, Burnley, come on, give us a break. You know how they're going to play. But as you mentioned, Zana, it's 70-odd years or something since they've been in the top flight. So their fans will be absolutely up for it, similar to like when our lads at home.
Don't tempt me, Chris. Don't tempt me. I did like the pronunciation in Bubu. Emblemo.
Yeah, I'll have to go on Google Translate after this video. But yeah, I can't wait. Very, very excited for the games.
Salil, your thoughts about the game? How do you think it's gonna go?
From whatever I watched, Brentford, especially in the first game against Arsenal, they're not the team who's going to sit back. They're a lot like Sheffield when they got promoted, right? They weren't really sitting back. They were pushing up front. They were trying to score the odd goal. I don't see that changing because this is the best time they can actually attack Liverpool. Because if they were at Anfield, I would still find them suspect of actually coming out and attacking. But being at home under the lights with the fans behind them, I think they're going to come out and play football. And that may give us the initiative to go and score the odd goal here and there and win the game.
All right, Doug, what about you?
I think it's similar to what everyone said, really. Brentford are a very, very good team. We have to be respectful to that. They're very, very well organised. Thomas Frank has done a fantastic job. This is going to be the first meeting, I think, between him and Jurgen Klopp, if I seem to remember. But they'll look to counter-attack us. So I think if an early goal would be very, very crucial as well. It would settle us down. I think, Toney is a handful. Obviously, Jack's got posters above his bed. I know that for a fact. No, I'm only joking, mate. I'm only joking.
It's alright. He will sign for Liverpool one day. Let's watch.
Well, fingers crossed for that. But yeah, look, I think it'll be a similar game to the Leeds game. In all honesty, I think if you look at how they did, they attacked us, we attacked them. Yeah. I think Brentford are that kind of team. I think they're a better, well prepared team than Leeds are, because Leeds, well, let's be honest, Leeds can't defend for toffee, and they can't seem to win a game. But the thing with Brentford is they can defend very, very well. And they can attack very, very well as well. I'm looking for, as I said, I think we've all said on the panel, we're very much looking forward to seeing Sergei Canos. Obviously, didn't make it at Liverpool. So I'm glad he's making it, at Brentford, and obviously he'll be the good thing about him is the trivia question: who was the first player to score in the Premier League this season? And it was Sergei Canos. So I am looking forward to this game, but as I said, I do think it'll be like the Leeds game. I think they'll attack, we'll attack, and I think we'll have too much for them.
And to add to what he's saying, Zane, if I see similarities between Thomas Mark and Jurgen Klopp. They feed off the crowd. It's something that the team looks up to, and once we can silence that crowd, I think we can have the game by the scruff of the neck. Because Brentford, whenever they played at home, especially under the lights, it's a different atmosphere altogether. So if by some way if we can score early and silence the crowd, I think more or less we should have it sorted.
Yeah, and we always have good away fans as well, so they can help us massively. I don't know if you are superstitious or not, if you do score predictions, but if you do, fire them away and tell me, what do you think the score is going to be?
I'm going 2-0. 2-0 Liverpool.
Goal scorers?
Salah to get his 100th Liverpool goal to become the fastest Liverpool player to 100, and I think I'm going to Mane.
Good. Salil?
I'll go for a 3-0 win, actually. I think it's going to be a cagey game initially, but then the game is going to be stretched and we're going to score out of nowhere. I fancy Jota, Salah and Mane to be on the score sheet for this one.
Nice. Jack?
Go with 3-1. You've probably watched Doug's listen to some of my predictions over the last couple of weeks. Been a bit mad. But I'd go with 3-1 with a Salah hat-trick. I think he just wants more goals, doesn't he? He wants goals. Since Ronaldo's come into the Prem, he's more hungry. So, fingers crossed, 3-1. I'll be happy with that.
I'll say 3-1 as well, because every time I say that we're going to concede, we don't. So I'm going to say 3-1.
Ooh.
Toney is
I like your way of thinking there. I like your way of thinking, but
no, I've been putting those prediction tweets, like score predictions, and they work well. So I'm like, I have to ask a question every match day, because otherwise we're gonna lose.
I know I don't know what it is, but we need to get away from doing Chelsea's results. They're completely identical, which is quite spooky. Anyway, but no, it's going to be a very, very interesting game, and I think 3-1 is a fair prediction as well. Look, Ivan Toney could probably score. A Canos could probably score. Even an Ayer could probably score as well. Brentford are a dangerous side, and they're very dangerous from set pieces as well. So we'll have to watch.
It's refreshing to see a new team in the league, innit, everyone? I think.
Yeah.
Not the usual, no disrespect to the other teams, but yo-yo teams that come in and out of the Premier League. Or Brentford have
Norwich.
been knocking on the door. Yeah, I'd be Delia. Where are you? Let's be over here. Don't
says
take
hi.
that out.
Fulham says hi.
You sure that wasn't Pep Guardiola, Jack?
Oh yeah, where's the fans? Come on, give you free tickets if you want. But yeah, it's refreshing to see Brentford in the league. Yeah.
It is indeed, and hopefully they stay up. I think we're only 5 games in, but by the looks of things, they do deserve to stay up there in the level of Premier League. So good on them. I think we're gonna finish this now. Just before we go, everyone just lets all the viewers know how can they find you on social media. Salil, I'll start with you. Where can we find you?
Well, so for everyone's convenience, I've added my @ handle. That's my Twitter and Instagram account. So if you guys like my content, please do follow me, and I would be happy to connect. And before saying anything else, the Reds don't have no money, but we'll still win the league.
That's my favorite chant now.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Jack, how can we find you?
Yeah, thank you very much once again for having me on. I really do appreciate it. And lovely speaking to everyone in chat and other panel. Jack Mac Electric on YouTube and on Twitter as well. But thank you for having me on. Really do appreciate it.
Doug, where can we find you?
Well, that's my Twitter handle there, Enrod_1992. If you want good Scots witter and banter and really, really bad dad jokes, sorry, Jack, you can find me on my Twitter handle there. My Instagram is Douglas.Horn, my Facebook is Douglas James Horn, and you can find me at the Dugout Football Channel as well. But thank you very, very much for having me, and I've really, really enjoyed this as well.
I love your jokes, Doug. It sounds.
Yeah. I think you have a live stream in a couple of minutes at 8, I think, is it?
8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got. I've managed to connect with a Liverpool fan from Finland, so that's going to be very, very interesting. And we've also got the lovely Wahomey and Sophie from Yanks of the Cop as well. So very good panel tonight. Just a pity they don't have any Brentford fans, but yeah. We'll give you praise with the way you started the season for sure. I've nothing bad to say about Brentford anyway. So.
No, definitely not. Well, thank you, everyone. You know how to find me in Sunny Talk Sports. So please like this video. Please subscribe if you want to see some more content coming your way. Once again, thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Salil, Jack, and Doug. I really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we win, and have a good game on Tuesday against Porto as well. So have a good evening, guys, and take care.